edit. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. Edit the title. Because I don't know how to set it up, and here we go. And schedule it. So I looks like I got a customer coming in.
Excuse me, did you get my text
No,
on
I'm
my
on
brother?
video, so just so you know.
Oh, my brother had sent that, gave me that name. Sorry.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. I think I might have a chunk out of my spring. Do you take care of that stuff? No. Yes?
A leaf spring?
My grandson found, after my son backed out my car, there was a piece about like this.
Do you have it?
What's that from? I had to run to the bank and I thought, well, he's still open.
Take a picture of it and send it to me, yeah. And then we'll schedule you in.
Okay. I don't know where it came.
How's the air conditioning?
I just tried it.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, Leisure. I'm doing a live feed just so you know. So your truck, I bring it in. It's making noise, and then I vacuum it down or suck it out. It's only got 6 ounces in there, so it's low. So I lift it up, look at your compressor, and it's where the compressor bolts together, the round sections. It's
Yep.
all like leaking oil out of there. So I think what happened is, and then I pulled the desiccant bag out, and there's a little filter there. So there is a little middle in there.
Okay.
So I was just like, okay, we need to replace the condenser and the compressor.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I'll run it. I'll wait till.
yeah, but
where it
so
really
I'm like,
hits.
okay, because we're gonna have to order parts. I'm gonna charge it up for him, so he's got
Yep.
her. So I did. I put 2 ounces of oil in there and a little bit of dye.
Yep.
It's quiet now.
Perfect.
So I think what happened was over the time, all the oil had leaked out of that compressor. So the compressor is bad,
Yep.
and there is some stuff in there. So if we do have to replace the compressor, we got to do something with the condenser and flush out the evaporator.
Okay. You're probably a few weeks out.
Yep.
Let's put something on the books now. Just get her done.
In case it starts making noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, working around blacktop too.
All right, I'm gonna schedule you. So the first I got is June 8th.
June 8th.
Yeah. Anytime that week, that whole week is open. So that's the second weekend.
Is that a Monday?
Monday, yeah, I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I'll drop it off this Sunday before, so I'll just plan on having it here the 8th.
Okay, so you do wanna put a new compressor on there,
Yeah, just go ahead.
and we're gonna have to replace that AC condenser. So I quoted you a Ford,
Yep.
but we could get an aftermarket for quite a bit cheaper. And I've had good luck with the aftermarket, so I'll leave that one up to you. I did not quote a Ford compressor because I just didn't.
Yep.
It would be quite a bit more. And I did look online, so there's not much difference between my suppliers here and online.
Yeah, let's just do the Ford, the Motorcraft one.
Okay, the good condenser.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
I'm gonna schedule you for the Monday, the
I better.
June 8th. So if it does retain the the refrigerant by then, that'll save you a little bit of money.
Yep.
That'll be less off the quote.
So yeah, let's square up now, and
Okay.
then I'm just gonna pay for my brothers too, so it's not such a headache for you.
It's like almost $1,000.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do two separate payments? Or you wanna do it all in one?
Let's see, what would it be?
I can add it up here for you. Okay, then you want his keys? Or will he stop in?
It'll stop him.
Geez, that's so nice of you.
Yeah.
So let me add this up for you. Yeah, one payment. You're gonna do card?
Yep.
So I have to charge just a little bit
Yeah, that's
more.
fine.
All right, let's find the other one. 920.32.
Yep.
$1,120.06.
That's total?
Mm-hmm.
Easy enough.
Okay, let me. Well, no, I gotta add a little bit to that.
Oh, yeah, for your thing.
Yeah, because they charge me.
I bet they, yeah. The only reason I could use that Shields card is that I get good rewards. You do like transmission flushes and stuff too?
Yep.
That'll be the next thing on that black truck.
Okay, is it slipping, or why do you say you want a transmission flush?
Yeah, it slips a little bit and it shifts kind of hard.
There's no tap on this card?
There should be.
There we go. All right, she went through. I'm gonna mark these paid and I'll print them off for you. Your key is right here.
Perfect.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. I did my truck. I done a bunch of boards. Turns out really good. Nice, bright and red. But if you got a problem with it slipping, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah,
Shifting funny and slipping.
it just seems like it revs way higher than it actually should before it
Okay.
shifts.
Okay.
And I've had that truck since 100,000, and I've never done, because that's like a sealed unit, or you got to get underneath of it to check anything.
Mm-hmm. So there's no dipstick on that?
Nope.
Yeah, that's the one that's, you got to pull that little plug out of there.
Yep.
All right, there's your brothers, and that's under your mom's name.
Yep. Yeah, and then I was just planning on dropping her off the week of the 8th. If you need it for a couple days, that's fine too.
That's a pretty nice truck you got.
It's my everyday truck. I'm trying to pull a little better mileage with it.
What do you get?
I was getting like 15. Now these last couple months, it's down to like 12 or 13.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Good old 5.0s.
Well, maybe we need to check and see if it needs air filtered and stuff like that.
I did. Well, it has an aftermarket.
Oh yeah, I did see it was a little dirty.
Yep. So I might order a new one. Just
That
pop
that ain't gonna
on.
cost 2 or 3 miles to the gallon, I don't think.
No. I might try a couple other things and just little stuff.
We could scan it too.
Mm-hmm.
I could check into that day we work on it.
Okay. Did you check them pulleys and everything?
Yep, they all look good. The bills
Good.
look good for now.
Good.
Didn't after I charged it up, it seemed to be better, but I think what was happening, it was so low on oil that it was getting worse and dragging down. Like I might even, when we bring it back in,
Yep.
put more oil in because it's supposed to have. I'll look it up how many ounces, but 2 ounces. If it was bone dry, 2 ounces is not enough. But I don't know that,
Yep.
you know. But putting the oil in made it quiet down, so
Yeah, we'll just.
Well, no, yeah. So when you bring it in, we're putting a. So I'll fill the system up with oil.
Yep.
Yep. And then clean all that out, so it don't shell itself right away.
Yep.
And then I'll stand behind it too.
Yeah. It should be.
I'm just gonna make a note to check why you lost so much gas mileage.
I got shipped over to the Faribault crew. So.
If you change your mind on that AC, let me know.
Yeah, no, I'd say let's just do her and get her done. That's why after working around 300.
I did a video on it if you want to look it up.
Really?
Yeah, one of my guys said that it's time when that metal gets in there, it's time for the compressor.
I figured.
So yeah.
Working around 300-degree blacktop all day, the last thing you want to get into the truck with no AC.
Okay. Yeah, I understand now.
But yeah, well, thank you very much.
So you're gonna get those to your
I'll give it
mom
to
and mom? Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop them off right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Your mom's gonna be so happy, and so is your brother.
Yeah. Less stress for me, I can tell you that.
Oh, they're borrowing your cars?
No more.
Oh, it's starting to rain now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing a live feed, so. No, you got to stay there. Yeah, Michelle's here now.
All right, I'll see ya.
Well, see ya. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yep.
Okay. So that was the last customer of the day. I got him handled, and he even paid for his brother's car. That's pretty sweet. So thanks for your patience. Just had to take care of a little bit of business there, and now Michelle's back. So, and she's bringing the Daisy dog. So, ooh, listen to that Ford Power. So getting a little reflection in my glasses. I don't remember that, but can't seem to make it go away. So the Ford pickup was the only scheduled vehicle today, and I did not have any walk-ins. So I did work on the John Deere lawnmower, and I did change some coils, which helped just a little bit, but it didn't do it. So I'm like, well, I don't think the engine's lame on power, so I drove it up to a tree and spun the tires, and it does not cut out, but it does cut out when you flip the mower deck on. So I'm thinking we got a wiring problem or a ground issue, and it's back feeding through the coils, the kill on the coils. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I can't get it going. Oh, and then I did get the Harley running. And she runs beautiful. And I even took it out for a ride. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to get my comments up here. Michelle, you need to help me on my comment stuff. You know, like you normally do. So let me find out how to get the comments up. All right, here's the link. Oh. Yep, so Leisure. Did you bring us food?
No, there's food here.
Yeah, she didn't bring food because we have food. She cooked some ham in the Instapot. Is that what it's called? Crock pot last night. All right, I got to shut the volume off on this, and I'm going to turn on the big screen. But I can't because Michelle took my remote control. All right, she gave it back to me. I gotta, how come I can't find my live? Here it is. I got it going now. So last time on Tuesday, we ran a little bit low on internet, and I guess it was cutting out a little bit or buffering. It was buffering. So it kind of looks like we got better internet. I can check the speed on it. And I got the door open, and it's starting to rain, and it's going to be a thunderstorm out there. So if it gets too wild, I got to shut the door. So let me see. Oh, I was going to do a speed test. Let's see what our speed is today. It's not impressive on why download. We got 4.57 meg. Upload gonna be, I got bad internet. It's what, Metro? Home internet? 1.13 mega upload. So 4.57 download, 1.13 upload. That's awful. Usually my download is way up there. Yeah, now it's going. So now I had to do the test again. Now it's up around 10 meg download. And it's going down.
Storm.
Yeah, so when it does rain, 7.05 download. So I think we got enough to do this live feed tonight. Enough service through the internet. 2.72 upload. Okay, so that's good enough. Up there it just faded out a little bit, so maybe I'm wrong. But are you on the internet? Our internet?
Yeah, I'm turning it off. I'm gonna
Okay,
go
I think
in.
Michelle's phone just hogged the internet for a second.
I'm gonna go in the motorhome.
So yeah,
Unload stuff.
I hope this gets better. You'll have to go see how we do here, Michelle, 'cause it's not looking good. Let me know if it's fuzzy or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it buffered a little bit, but now it's back to better. So yeah, I just had the F-150, and that was so weird because that compressor was noisy when I brought it in, like, you know, slightly noisy compressor sound. So then I recovered all the refrigerant, and it only had 6 ounces. So then I lift it up and take a look at the compressor. Sure enough, yeah, that Michelle came and used the internet. I think her phone hogged it all. But then, so I look at the compressor. Yeah, it's leaking. I pull out that desiccant bag, and I had a hard time pulling that out. The bottom plug was corroded in there, and when I pushed it up a little bit, whatever residual pressure it had, I could see it was leaking, and I'm like, this is not good. I could see little bubbles coming around it, and I haven't even got the snap ring out of it yet. I just pushed it up so I get the snap ring out. So then I did get it out of there, and there's no oil in there at all. And I did shine my black light up in there, and I didn't see very much dye at all. So I think the system was dry, and maybe I should have put more oil in it than just 2 ounces, but he's electing to go ahead and change the compressor and the condenser, and then I'll flush out the evaporator core for him. But it's super quiet, and it's working good. So it was empty on oil. But Alicia, you're right. It does need a compressor. It is leaking, and it does have metal in it. So it will be interesting when I pull that compressor off of there and I drain the oil out of it, what condition the oil looks. Yeah, so I think it was Michelle's phone when she popped on the internet. It just hogged it a little bit. Usually it's fine, but that Metro home internet, not very good. So then tomorrow morning I'm taking off. I'm not going to be here in the morning, so no videos tomorrow morning. But if I get back in time, like I think we're going to be back in the afternoon. I got that Prius. I could call the lady. I got the line in. The guy. I got the line in to fix that Prius air conditioning line where it got dented and it was leaking in the front. And they had it at a couple different shops, and they couldn't find that leak, but I did. So I could call her and have her bring that over tomorrow if we get back in time to work. So hopefully you guys can all hear me good enough, and then that I got the door open and all that background noise from outside is not too loud. Yeah, super excited to get this live going. I do it on my phone. Yeah, so I was ready to give up on finding that leak, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I can't find it leaking anywhere else. So there's a dent in the front, and I can't remember exactly, but anyways, I peel back the bumper cover or whatever it was right there. And I look in there, and the AC, the high pressure line that goes to the condenser's got a big dent in it. So I'm like, oh, that's not good. So then I sprayed some soapy water on it, and it started bubbling. So I got super excited, did the video for that car. There's a video on it. And then I told them I could try to use, one of my suppliers has got some actual AC line splicers. And I told them we could try that or put a compression fitting on it. They make some pretty good ones. But one of my suppliers makes them for actual AC lines. I've never used one, and I would not trust that. But he elected to get a new line. So the only place Toyota didn't have a line. So the only place I could get a line was Amazon, and it's folded up, and they shipped it in a box. So I got to unfold it. Hopefully I don't break it. Figure out how to finagle it in there, and then, vacuum it down, charge it up. And I got some special oil for the hybrid. That car takes like an ND oil. So I got that oil here already too. And then Saturday, let me see what we got going on for Saturday. 1, 2, 2 oil changes and an inspection. Yep. And one of the ones is it's using oil. So I'm supposed to check and see. Chevy Cruze using oil. Imagine that. So I'm supposed to check and see why that car is using the oil. And then a 2024 Tahoe coming in for an oil change. And then the guy that bought the CRV that had the rusted out truck, so he bought a CRV. That's so great. He's bringing that in for me to do a full inspection on it and let him know what he's got to do to keep that car up and running so it doesn't turn into his pickup or his other car. Alan. Hey, Alan, how you doing? How's the auction business going? Nice to see you, Alan. Are you having a live feed tonight? I should check. I wonder if I can just click on his go to channel. Nope, so it doesn't look like he's having one right now. So later on, I think it's at 10 o'clock, a Buff Del Campbell is going to have his live feed. I'll probably go on there. He gives me a lot of shout outs. And every time I go on there, onto his live feed, I get a couple subscribers. And the guy's really nice. He's down in Tennessee. He's working on a Plymouth Valiant, making it into a pickup. So can't wait to see what they're up to tonight. At 9 p.m., you're going to have a live feed. So Alan's going to have one at 9. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go too long tonight because I don't know what happened if I slept wrong. Well, that's some bad lightning. If I slept wrong or bumped into something. It happened last night, so it couldn't have been I slept wrong. I know, we've seen a big flash. I seen a big flash. Hear that thunder? Oh yeah, she's shaking the building. Rolling thunder.
I'm scared to go out there. Well, I guess I'm on a bunch of wheels.
You're out of a bunch of wheels.
I'm sitting on top of a bunch of tires in the
Ye-
motorhome.
Yeah, maybe you should just stay in here. Leisure says, my friend Captain Corrosion had a 72 Valiant until it rusted out. Until he rusted it out. Yeah, I don't know. You even if you wash them, it moves the salt to places where you can't get to. I noticed on one of the cars I had, it didn't have no rust on it when I was younger, and I washed it like every 2 days, if not every day, because I didn't didn't want it to rust out. But after I started washing it for 6 months or so, it did start getting some rust on it. And then eventually, over the years, the rear, it was a front wheel drive, and the rear is a Pontiac Grand Am, and the rear trailing arm bracket where it goes to the unibody rusted out and rusted away from the unibody, and I had to junk it out. I bought a 2020, Alan says, I bought a 2020 Toyota Highlander at the auction. Oh yeah, that's got to be pretty nice. 2020 Toyota Highlander. So hopefully it wasn't at the auction because somebody couldn't fix something on it. The good ones that you get at an auction are rental vehicles, and yeah, I don't know of any other ones. But most of the time, people bring stuff to the auction is something's wrong with it, unless it's like a new car dealer, and they don't want to sell an older car in their lot. So we used to buy a lot of them. A lot of cars that came from car dealers that didn't want old cars on their lot, but then they're trade-ins. So, but a 2020 Toyota Highlander, that should be pretty sweet. Yeah, I used to have a Plymouth Valiant back in the day. I think we were talking about that on Tuesday. If it's bad, run it back through. Yeah, you're in that business. We used to do that. So I worked for some used car dealers. And we'd go to the auction. I can't remember what night it was on. Every Friday night, I think. The local auction in Rochester. And we'd buy, I don't know, 5, 6 of them to sell in our lot. And if we got them back and there was something major, we'd run them back to the auction. Front end damage. So yeah, those are some good ones. So insurance. It's insurance. So light front end damage. You gonna fix it yourself, or you got somebody that can fix that? So that would be an R one to get at an auction, because you can visually see the damage, whether you're gonna repair that or not, how you're gonna repair it. So I got another guy that I fix all his cars for, and he buys a lot of damaged cars from the auction, and then he buys a lot of like rental car company cars that end up at the auction. So yeah, so Alan's gonna get it fixed for him. Yeah, so what color is it? That's gonna be a pretty nice vehicle. 2020 Toyota Highlander. Sweet, dude. I always like getting newer model cars in here to work on. Not so much rust. Of course, I did have that 94 Chevy Suburban. There was no rust on that. It just broke the shock mount off, and then I fabbed the new one on there. Really sweet. It even smelled like 1993 on the inside. So yeah, and then let's see what we got to do on Monday. Oh, so I got a 97 Chevy coming in on Monday, and we quoted him a whole bunch of stuff. His air conditioning compressor bearing is bad, and I just wrote on here that he's bringing that truck in and go to the quote. So I'm not sure everything. And then Tuesday I got a brake job coming in, a rear brake job, and a Subaru that has the grill shutter not working. Oh, on Wednesday I gotta change that transmission in that 2021 Chevy. Is it a 2500 or 3500? I can't remember. And then we got a nicer 2007 Chevy coming in for CV axle and both front shocks. I got a Kia coming in for parking brake shoes. A Mercury Montego coming in for a motor mount, engine mount. A Chrysler 200 coming in for a coolant leak. And then a couple oil changes on that Saturday. So a couple weeks out on that one, or a week out. I did get my brake pad display thickness gauge in. So when I tell customers that their brakes are at 1 millimeter, or 2 millimeters, or 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters, I usually let them go, especially if they're in the rear. I'll just tell them that they're getting low. I like to get the full life out of pads, but this way they can understand when I check them with my gauge, and then it's all in millimeters. And this gauge is pretty close, so looks good there. When we get down to the 2 millimeters, that's where she's not quite accurate, because we got about 2.5 millimeters here. So it should be just a little bit thinner. And the same with the 3 millimeters. The 3 millimeter, no, the 3 millimeter is right on the money, but we don't have a 1 millimeter, which I guess if you're down to 2 millimeters, that's too much, or too little left. So this is good display to have on my counter when the customers come in. Although we are gonna get Michelle's place over there rigged up to have customers come in, and we're gonna have coffee in there and some vending machines and a pop machine. JD, how's it going? We're getting a little rain here. It's 75 degrees and it's starting to rain, and it was some thunder and lightning storms. Yeah, it's on a Kia, and I didn't pull the drums off or anything, or they're rotors with the drum on the inside. But I looked in there through the adjustment hole, and there's no padding left on them. So I'm going to get the hardware kit, the shoes, and I don't want to replace the rotors, but I'm going to try to clean them up. Buff, how you doing? I'm going to come to your live feed later on. All our pads bonded, or are some? So no, they're all bonded nowadays. So I don't know, on the older cars, I can't think of any that were riveted, but my dad did give me all the brake rivet tools to reline shoes, but I've never had to do it. So yeah, they're just all bonded. And on the parking brake shoes, they never get used, but she needs hers. She needs to use it. But over time they get I guess rust jacked between the braking material and the shoe, and then they just start falling off. And hers must have got chewed up inside there, and they're gone. So yeah, Leisure would know, but he says he haven't seen a riveted pad in years. Yeah, I think I've seen, like, when I used to have my 79 Monte Carlo way back when I was younger. So I would have been 35 years ago, maybe longer. I think I had some front brake pads that were riveted on there. But now they're all just bonded. And I talk to my reps every time they come in here, and they're telling me that no burnishing is required now on the pads. But what I do is, if I pad slap a car, I'll go out and test drive it and match them into the rotors. JD says, I got in the habit of using the parking brake on my car just to keep everything working. Yeah, that's a good idea, because if you don't use it for a while and you go to use it, it could stick on. But yeah, that Kia is a manual transmission. She's an older lady. She's retired, but she told me that she went to the Mayo Clinic and parked in there, and she couldn't find her car, but it had rolled back like 50 yards, and it didn't hit nothing though. But she left it in gear. But that little engine, when I was testing I thought it was an engine mount that was bad on it, so I was pushing it back and forth, and I left it at first gear, no reverse. And it would roll the engine over when I was rocking it back and forth. So the little old lady from Pasadena, yeah, she's a nice old lady, but she skipped the last couple oil changes and took it to the dealer, and they did not find that tie rod bad. Buff says, my Z7 rear brakes have original riveted Ford shoes in the back. What is a Z7? Okay, gotta type that in. Z7, it's a Ford? Mercury, oh, it's a Mercury Zephyr. What year is that, Buff? 1978 Mercury Zephyr. Let me go back to the Google. Pretty sweet look old car there. I see there's one of those that are like a Ranchero El Camino style also. So Buff, can you get the braking material new and rivet that on, or do you make your own? Or compression could be getting low on the Kia. Yeah, but it runs good. So yeah, it's just a little engine in there, but yeah, sometimes if the compression gets low, I'll look and see how many miles are on it. It doesn't use any oil. Let me pull up her last invoice. It's a 2012 Kia Soul, 122,000 miles. But it runs like a top. One of the first things she ever brought it to me for was the light was on, and the purge valve was bad. And let me tell you, don't buy an aftermarket purge valve for one of those cars, because they were bad right out of the box. So I had to take care of her on that, and I sure did. I got her a Kia one, and it's been working ever since. And then whenever she's around, she'll bring it for an oil change. But she hasn't been here for an oil change for a couple times. But since the dealer missed the tie rod, which is a safety, she said she's going to start bringing it back to me. And I told her that even I can make mistakes, and maybe I wouldn't have found it. But I do a general check over on your car when you bring it in for an oil change. So a lot of times I'll find a lot of stuff wrong. And then we're going to start. I think as of last week, I'm starting to test drive them before I do the oil change. And then now I'm going to start taking pictures of your dashboard on my test drive. So if you got your check engine lights on, I'm going to note all that and take pictures of it. Because the world's turning into a different place, and I want to protect myself if somebody would happen to get mad at me and take me to court. Which so far, that's not happening. Yeah, yesterday on the Lexus, so I knew it had one wheel bearing bad, and I was just had a hunch that they were both bad. So I just started with the one side that I thought that was bad. Sure enough, it's bad. That's the one I did the video on. I put that in there. I go out after that. I go out for a test drive, and yeah, they kind of suck pressing them in there. And I'm like, no, it's still really bad. So I bring it back in. And, you know, I didn't even call the guy to let him know that, hey, you got two wheel bearings bad, because I can't let it leave like that. I have no choice whether he's going to pay or not, or he's going to have to do payments or whatever. But he did stop in, like in the middle of the two wheel bearings, and I kind of told him what was going on, and he didn't seem like, he seemed like kind of depressed, you know, a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, if it's just the one wheel bearing, it's going to be done. And Michelle told him it was going to be done like in a half an hour, and we never called him. So he assumed that because we didn't call him that was the other wheel bearing was bad too. So I put them both in, and it was super quiet. When they came to pick it up, the kid the guy's kid was here with them, and this is so awesome. The kid's like, "Thank you for fixing my dad's car," and I'm like, "Oh, you're so welcome." And he's like, "Yep." He is so excited. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna clean my dad's car inside and out, wash it, everything for him." The kid was so excited to have his dad's car back. Like maybe they're gonna go on some cruises and stuff, go out to the Dairy Queen. So that was a good experience because I was expecting the worst. I was expecting him to be mad, you know, because it's gonna be double the amount. But he was so happy. He was happy too. He was so happy that I got his Lexus going because he couldn't drive it. I was afraid to drive at 20 miles an hour. It was so bad. But yeah, there's more to that story, but that's all I'm gonna tell. Yeah, cover your ass. You got to. Everything nowadays. All my customers are really good. I've only had one time where I did an oil change on this car, and we noted in the invoice before what we do is we just note it in the invoice like cell was on prior to service. But anyways, so it was a friend of mine, and this gal had just broken up with him, and he arranged the oil change to get done here because he's being nice to her. But anyways, they had trouble with their relationship, and then she tried to come back on me saying, "Yep, you changed the oil on my truck and the lights on." And I'm like, no, ma'am. We documented it in the invoice, and your light was on before we did the oil change. So we showed her that we documented all that, and that's the end of that. That's where it stopped. So that's the worst experience as far as something like that I've had. Alan Rebuilds. Hey, Alan Rebuilds, how's it going? Where are you from, Alan? We got two Allens in here. Alan Copart and Alan Rebuilds. Oh, you're the same Alan. I got it. You just switched to a different account. Sorry. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to figure this out. I got it. So yeah, the shop is cleaned out. I'm on schedule. The only thing I have left is the little John Deere lawnmower. And yeah, she wanted me to, and it was something that I can't remember what it was, but it was something a little bit more intricate with that I didn't know where to even start on it, and it was oil change day, so. But I was figuring like this could be around $1,000 repair. So I think she knew that too, and she just wanted to see if she could blame me and then get her engine light fixed. But we noted it on her invoice, and that shut her up. I mean, it was already on her invoice. She went and looked at it and like, oh. But now I'm gonna start to take pictures because I watched what is it, Royalty Auto Service with Sherwood, and he had to go to court. I don't know when it was, but I watched a little video on it the other day, and then he had photo on his phone, documentation of everything, and he won his court case. So JD says, I was on the Mac tool truck for the first time ever today. I wish I had a Mac tool truck that would stop here. Now I understand that they have gone more to the Chinesium side, but I like Mac tools. And I know other YouTubers out there that have their own channels, they hate Mac tools, but I like them. I got a lot. I don't have a lot of them, but I have some. Be better than the Matco truck. And then for me, I can't stand the Snap-on truck. Good thing he doesn't stop here. He drives by here every week. But the Snap-on is just so expensive. I got a few warranty things to get warranted, but other than that, I could do without the Snap-on. You know, back in the day, I went to Sears to get Craftsman tools like at least 2 times a week sometimes. I was always buying Craftsman tools. the RB RT stuff looks nice. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure what that stands for. But yeah. But we had another tool truck that no longer stops here because they skipped out and went to Florida, but it was called Pro Tools. And they sold like Vim tools, uh, Milwaukee. Oh, that's cool, Alan. You got two accounts going at the same time there. Oh, you just did that to subscribe. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. That's awesome. So yeah, Buff, he's in here. Buff Del Camp Pole. It's gonna have a live feed at 10 o'clock. And it's kind of fun. He's got a lot of people that come to his live feeds. Pretty awesome. So yeah, I can't put it up on the screen like you can, Buff, but I can kind of just switch it around here. I suppose it's all backwards. But so it's Buff and Kim. And he's got a bunch of videos. Does a lot of live feeds. Look at that, 7.87K subscribers. He's big time. Buff, you're big time. So I'm doing the live feed on my phone, which I can't put stuff up on there like you can. Someday I'll get a webcam and we'll do it on the computer, and then I'll be able to put stuff up on my phone like you do. So JD, what is RBRT? Rebuilt? And I'm having my beer. It's a root beer. Barks root beer. All right, Alan. I'll get your live feed up on my computer. So I wonder if his is Eastern time. So I'll wait for it to get notified here. And if his live feed goes up, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what's going on. Rounded bolt removal technology. Yeah, I need some of that stuff. I got like normal easy outs. I got a tap and dice, but I don't have none of those ones that slip over the head of a bolt. I got to get some of those, and they work good for like if you don't have the lug nut key. I know they make some big ones that you just hammer on there with a 3-pound hammer, and then it'll take the lug nut right off. Barks, that's a better bite than Busch Light. Yeah, it's got a little more bite. And Michelle was in Spring Valley today, but I forgot to tell her to pick up some of that other root beer that Benny, my other friend from Spring Valley, suggested that I get at the grocery store. And then I just went 2 weeks ago. I went to a garage sale. It was out in the country, and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. But some of the stuff I bought was some easy outs. But I remember back in the day, I used to have like a soup can full of all the broken bolts I used to drill out and take out with easy outs. Buff says he likes A&W Diet Root Beer. I do have some A&W Root Beer, but I've never tried the Diet. Like, I don't like Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. I know that. Or Diet Mountain Dew. But some people have to drink the Diet because the sugar. If they're gonna have a soda. I know my dad, he could not drink like regular yeah, my dad was diabetic. Yep. He could not drink regular soda. Always the diet stuff. And he liked Diet Coke. But let me go. Let's go see those Easy Outs that I picked up at the yard sale the other day. And I mixed them in with my Easy Outs that I have. So these are mine. These ones here work really well. So they're just some that go onto a drill. I haven't used them very much, but I did use it once and it worked perfectly. This is one of them that I got out of that yard sale. Threaded it. But these work good, like if you break off a spark plug, some spark plugs. So that's pretty big. And then I got some more there. And then I got the snap-on set with the left-handed drill bits. And it looks like this one's got to be warranted. Look at that. The end is rounded right out. Oh yeah, there are some of these in that one I got. But I need to get some that go, like JD said, you pound them over. Right now, I'll just pound a socket over it. But yeah, I need to get some of those. And you said you seen that on the Mack truck? Buff said he's got his diabetes under control, so drink diet drinks. Could be worse. Yeah, my dad ended up getting his under control too. I don't understand all the numbers, but we started eating good homemade cooked meals, and it slowly but surely he started getting better. JD says he pulls out the welder before he uses those things. Yep, I just welded it. I had to get the power steering line out of my pump, and it took 3 tries with the welder, welding a nut on there. Of course, I couldn't see what I welded. I had to stick my hand or just weld in there blind. I never welded on a power steering rack before, but it turned out good because I went on a service call on my truck the other day, and there's no leaks. Leisure said never had luck with the tapered spiral removers. Once in a while they work, but they expand the bolt as you're twisting it out. So sometimes it locks it in there, especially if you drill it out really thin. It locks it in there tighter. Buff says left-handed drill bits are his favorite. Yep, I just never really, I know how to sharpen them and I keep them pretty sharp. But I think I've only had one bolt that I've been able to walk out with a left-handed drill bit. And I will try it. I try everything. But I always get them out. One way or another. And like I said, I used to have a little can, a soup can, just full of ones I've gotten out. And I saved them. So I started doing that again. And I only got a couple in there. Like I think when I do the manifolds and they're broken off and I can get them out with a vice grip, I just throw them away right now. But it gives some talking points, like over here at my bench. Not so much anymore, but we'll save. Like here's the Chrysler thermostat was leaking. I think it's cracked. I saved these oxygen sensors just for now, just to make sure it doesn't come back. Here's the clutch I did on that lady's van that was just here at the start of my live feed, and she says her air conditioning is still working. And then we got a couple brake pads. Here's the inside of a TPMS sensor that has a little 2032 battery in there. Parking control aid module. They get corroded up on the inside. And then they stop working. But there's a lot of gold on that board. Here's some delaminated brake pad. Here's a lug nut. I had a hard time getting that lug nut off, so I just got this stuff like here. If a customer ever asks any questions, like, why did I have to put new lug nuts on her car? So I should clean this mess up someday, and I do. I go through it because once in a while. And my spark plug collection. Yep, those lug nuts, they're so bad. We keep a lot of the lug nuts right on hand for cars. And I go through them. Yep, I don't know why, if it was a money saver or it's retarded. I don't know if I can say that word. But I keep a lot of lug nuts on hand, and I finally found one of my, rather than order them all on Amazon now because I always get low on stock. Auto Value sells lug nuts reasonable. Napa and O'Reilly's, no, not so much. Very expensive. It's like $4 to $5 a piece for a lug nut from Napa or O'Reilly's. That's crazy. So I always try to save my customers money. I'll buy a whole set on Amazon for like, it's cheap. But if I don't have one here on hand, I did find that Auto Value will sell them cheaper, like $2 and under for lug nuts. So you'll have to let me know if I got to shut the door from the background noise. Seems like we're getting some traffic out there, and it kind of stopped raining a little bit, so I haven't heard any lightning or thunder for a little while. Yep, use solid lug nuts, and like the Chrysler ones that are the lug bolt, they even have a chrome cap over the outside. It's retarded. Yeah, so I was wondering about that. I should be careful saying that. That word got us in trouble. That's what Buff said. We now anti-advanced ignition timing. Yeah, I mean, it's a real word for ignition timing. And somebody, oh yeah, at our AC Delco class the other day, he was wondering if anybody still has a timing light. Well, I still have a timing light, and I still get vehicles in here that need to have a timing light used on them. I still work on. I got a couple 95 pickups, and obviously I didn't have to adjust the timing on that 93, but you need a timing light. Maybe not on some of those, but I do have some cars that I have to use timing lights. I got 2 timing lights and a dwell meter, a couple dwell meters. But yeah, it's a thing of the past. I remember when I was younger, I used the timing light a lot. Yep, I'm gonna have to be more careful. I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. I just got all my videos. I won all the copyright claims on my videos. There must have been 100 videos that I had to do copyright claims, and I won them all, and they're all clear. All my videos are clear now. They're my videos. So yeah, I was using some intro music, and YouTube flagged all my videos. And at the time, I didn't care on some of them because I wasn't monetized, so it didn't matter. But once I got monetized, I wanted to get all my videos. And it takes 30 days per video. So I'd do like 20 videos, send them in for review. Buff says the newest current daily driver is a 48-year-old. Kim's car is 60 years old. So you guys keep them cars running. Yeah, you guys need timing lights. Yeah, I want to get an older car. Something I can mess around here and have for the shop. Like a mascot for the shop. JD says he has a few older vehicles coming into the shop: an 87 Maserati, 85 Porsche 944, 95 Mercury Villager. Yep, I never worked on a Maserati or I did work on a Porsche one time, but that was at they were having like a rally race. I can't remember. Road course race at the college. And something happened to the turbo, but I had to put the pressure line back on or the wastegate line back on or something. Buff says, we went out east. We went out to eat last night and Kim's 66 Dodge Dart. That's awesome. My brother has a 71 Dodge Dart. Yep. My dad was big into Dodges. Me, not so much, but I did get into them a little bit. I drove my dad's 71 Dodge Dart for a while, and it had a factory posi in it with a 318, and you could get it to spin, but it was a lot easier if you put a little water down or something. And then once you got it spinning, it could keep spinning forever until the tires popped. And I remember when I was younger, between all the cars I had, I was always there was a tire junkyard or a junkyard that had a lot of tires, used tires. And we were there every week, scrounging through the used tires because we could pick them up for a couple bucks a piece. And then we'd change them by hand ourselves, not balance them. Because we'd only get a week or so out of our tires. So yeah, the other thing I was going to talk about are these oxygen sensor. Anybody use the Walker oxygen sensors? Because so far I put 2 of these in, and so far, good luck, they're working. And they have a USA printed onto the box, but if you look on the back side, somewhere it says, yeah, right here on the bottom, country of origin is China. I don't know how they can do that. USA on the box, make it look like it's made in the USA, but it's really not. It's made in China. So JD says, my buddy that has the Duster, his dad had a 1970 Charger RT. He has owned that for over 45 years. That's awesome. Yeah. I think Michelle's uncle has a Plymouth Roadrunner, maybe. Is it a Roadrunner, Michelle? A Buff says it's a 225 slant 6, fresh 904 automatic, Ford rear end with 345 gears. The head is ported, mild cam. It goes real good. That's awesome. So that's in the 66 Dodge Dart. So Michelle's uncle has a 68 Roadrunner. So one of my first cars was a 1961 International C110 pickup. And then I bought a 1979 International Travelall that had a 392 with a 727 Torque Flight. So I took that 392 and 727 Torque Flight and NP205 transfer case and put it in my C110 pickup. Wish I still had that. But yeah, eventually reverse went out of it. I think the 727 Torque Flights, the reverse was a little weak. It was the weakest point on those, I think. Buffalo. And the 904 was the smaller, lighter duty transmission. The 727 was the heavier duty one. And they must have put a Ford rear end. So was that a 9-inch or was it like an 8.8? Yeah, sounds like you got a lot of work into that. And then the other day, for the mailman, I put in some McPherson ball joints. So I don't know if they were any good. They were cheap. But I put them in there. Well, I'll have to keep an eye on them. That's why they were called International. Yeah, I think they used some AMC stuff, international stuff. Obviously, the Chrysler transmissions. I had a lot of fun with that pickup, and it never had seatbelts in it, but I got a couple seatbelt tickets because of it. The cops always told me I needed to put seatbelts in there if it didn't have them. AC Delco distributors, yeah, and AC plugs. So I remember one time I had just got a brand new 1850 Holley vacuum secondary, put that on there. This is when I was first getting it going. I saved up a long time for that carburetor when I was a kid. Like I was 15, saving up money, changed this engine out, everything, got it running. But Dad's like, we should probably change the spark plugs. I think it ran okay though. So we changed the spark plugs and we put Champions in there, brand new Champions. And it went and it wouldn't start. Every plug fired one time. So we're like, me and Dad both can't figure it out. It's got spark at the wire, but it won't run. So we changed the spark plugs back, put the old ones back in, the ACs, fires right up and runs. So Dad the next day ran on his way back home from work. He stopped at the parts store for me and got me AC plugs and took those Champions back because they all fouled right away. And ever since then, I did not like Champion spark plugs, but the Chryslers use it, so we put OE parts in here, especially for spark plugs, unless you bring your own. I'm not sure the Dart had a bad rear end, and her Ford Ranger parts truck had a good rear end. It was exactly the same width, so we put it in the Dart. That's awesome. So that's probably an 8.8. And it had 3.45 to 1 gear ratio. So that's not too bad. I remember I had a car that had 411s, and that was way too like much RPM driving down the highway. So 345 is like a good overall, I would say a good overall gear to use some of your power and get good acceleration and daily driving. My Corvette had a 259 to 1 rear differential with a 700 R4. And then I put a 307 in there and I didn't like it. I thought it was too low geared. So one day with the 307 differential, and then I put the 259 differential back in. So it just lightened really bad. But Buff says, Kim's Dart runs away from his Mercury's Z7. Is it a Zephyr? Mercury Zephyr. Zephyr. Yeah, I think I've seen that car in your videos. Your Zephyr. Yeah, hopefully, I got the door open, so hopefully nobody stops in. We're actually closed now, so hopefully nobody stops in. But I did have a couple customers I took care of there right away at the beginning, and then I told them that I was doing a live feed, and they didn't seem to care. And the one gal said she's got a broken spring, and she's going to send me a picture, but I can't get her in right away. And it was raining, so I didn't want to go out there and look underneath her car and see what was broken. But she's got the piece of it, and she's going to take a picture, and then I'll be able to identify that. And then I'll schedule her to come in. Yeah, the good old days. I don't race around anymore. I had too many tickets when I was younger. And now I work on the police vehicles, so I try to stay clean and not cause any problems because I'm working on the vehicles, their vehicles. And you know, if you're all burning around and racing around and then they pull you over and you're the guy that fixed their cars, I just don't think that would look very good. there's a little thunder. Yeah, I think we're supposed to just get a little thunderstorm tonight. And then I think the next thunderstorm we're going to get. Oh, there's a chance of rain every day but Saturday. And it's dry around here, so the farmers need some moisture. And I think they got most of their crops in. JD says last week I had a golf cart that right rear coil spring broke while it was on the lift. I was working on it and heard a loud bang. So did you have to? I'd make the customer pay for it, but I suppose you had to fix it. Where do you get a coil spring for a golf cart? Yeah, we just had a golf cart in that was supposed to be here for an oil leak. And it had a diaper underneath the engine that I guess anytime they changed oil or it rained, then it would leave a puddle. So Michelle, oh, it's a Volkswagen Golf. Yeah, I had a couple Volkswagens with broken springs. The last one was a Beetle. We put the quick struts in there. How did I get golf? And I said golf cart. Man, well, anyways, we did work on a golf cart last week, and Michelle cleaned that diaper underneath the engine. It looked like a heat shield diaper thing, and it would soak up oil and water. And we cleaned it all out, all the oil out of it, and dried it all out. Tightened up the oil filter, tightened up a hose, and they came and got it. They haven't paid me yet, actually. Weird. I gotta check the invoice. Yeah, it was a couple days ago they came and got it. I'll have to remind them that they owe me some money for cleaning that out and verifying that there was no oil leak. And then tomorrow we also have to invoice these people. I'd like to get that John Deere figured out. I'm sure they want to mow the yard soon. I'm going to check the wiring on it, and if I can't figure it out, I don't know what to do. Not sure what I'm going to do. What's the weirdest thing you had come into your shop for work? Well, I'd have to think. We did get, Benny sent us some control arms from an old hot rod or an older car that we had to put some bushings in. Weirdest thing. I did a Bobcat Toolcat, put an axle shaft in that, which is like, they're like $70,000. Like 6,000 something pounds. Oh, I get some starting units in here. Commercial starting units, 1224 volts at 2,000 amps. I fixed those. Mine was a horse-drawn wagon that needed 4 tires, and it had brakes on it. Had to replace the master cylinder and run brake lines. LOL. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't had anything like that. We did a bicycle last year. I do lots of riding lawnmowers, push mowers. We just put a shift cable in a Ranger a week and a half ago, a Polaris Ranger. Yeah, so nothing too weird. I get some classic cars like some 60s Mustangs I have to work on. We had a Trans Am in here last year. And Ol's, I can't remember what kind of car that it ended up having. I think we figured out the engine was a 400 Pontiac. Most of those were carburetors and like shocks. And just trying to think of something weird that comes in here. I had one lady with a. I get a lot of cars that break down right in front of my shop on the road, or close to my shop. And one lady, her dry shaft fell off of her newer Chevy, which was under warranty, and I ended up just I can't remember why it fell off, but I was able to put it back on there, and she might have hit a bump or something might have knocked it apart. But I was able to put it back on there like how it should be, and I'm like, I took it out for a test drive and everything. She wasn't even from around here, but it was under warranty because she called her shop, and they said yeah. But I put it back on there and test drove it, and it was good. I don't even know if you would have to get a new one. I don't know. Maybe Michelle can think of something that we had in here that was really weird. So let me look. So if we get something really weird, we always take pictures of it. Yep, just can't think of anything right now. All right, get the comments back up here. JD says, my boss just bought another boat and it wasn't working right. Got my coworkers to look at it and the timing was advanced like 30 degrees at idle. He adjusted the timing and come to find out it melted one. Melted a piston? Oh, melted one of the pistons. Yeah, the next comment says one of the pistons and now it needs an engine. So that must be a two-stroke. Buff says, I've been a mechanic since 1971. That's a long time. I've never seen a dry shaft fall off. Yeah, it was on a newer Chevy, like, I'm trying to think of what kind it was. Maybe Michelle will remember. But I jacked it, yeah, because it was digging into the, like the blacktop when she was driving, and it was digging in the wrong way. Like, if it hit a bump, it would flip her over. So, oh, 350 inboard. So anyways, yeah, I was able to put it back on somehow. And I thought it was like repaired good enough back to the way it should be. But I can't remember why it fell out. I can't remember. And Michelle thinks it was a Traverse. I thought maybe it was like a Trax or something. Yeah, it would do a pole vault. Like race cars, when their dry shafts break off on the front, it flips them over. Sometimes there's rules where you got to have safety loops on your dry shaft. But I seen a modified out at Deer Creek, and its dry shaft broke off in the front, and it flipped him over. So he must have not had all the correct dry shaft safety loops. Because if my dry shaft ever broke off, it would just be inside the safety loops. 350 inboard, is that like, so that's like a 350 Chevy? So yeah, if a 350's, I don't know how it would run 30 degrees advanced at idle. Yeah. So like when we race, the only teching they do before the race is you got to go scale your car. And then if you get top 5 in the heat race, you got to scale again. And then if you're top 5 finish in the feature, then you got to scale and they tech your car. Hey Phil, nice to see ya. Couldn't have been a Traverse. They never run, it seems. Yeah, that 3.6 is a bad engine. well, I don't know if it's bad, but if you don't take care of it, it'll have problems. The older ones, the older 3.6s weren't as bad as what they have, the newer ones. Put it that way. With the direct injection and high pressure fuel pumps and timing chain issues. Yeah, if the timing chain breaks, it'll break the block down at the bottom. It wraps around the crankshaft and it'll bust the block, and then it's completely junk. And the 3.6 Chrysler, their cams and lifter or the followers for the little lash adjusters, they're bad. And then their head gaskets are bad too on a Pentastar. And their thermostats are terrible. Yeah, I got another gal coming in for a thermostat on a Pentastar. Sets a P0128. Friday Eve, I can feel it. Yeah, me and Michelle are taking at least most of the morning off tomorrow. And if I get back soon enough, I'm gonna call the guy with the Prius and have him bring it in for that AC line. It's supposed to start warming up in this area. Let me see. Yeah, it's supposed to Friday 85, Saturday 80, Sunday 76, Monday 77. So Friday of 85, that's too warm for me. It's too much to adjust to. If it's been 85 for quite a while, then I can adjust to it. I think like 65 to 70 is a good temperature for working. Yep, it's just all no good nowadays. Maybe a Honda. JD says we don't work on Fridays. Mondays is a holiday. Woo woo. So you work 4 10-hour shifts? Yeah, I'm not sure what to recommend anybody for a car nowadays. They all have their issues. It's awful. Michelle says it's Memorial Day on Monday. Well, we got stuff scheduled. Victory Day in Canada. I don't think Monday can't be Memorial Day. May 25th is Memorial Day. Yeah, that's a week out yet. I was gonna say I probably do have something scheduled on the 25th. Sure do. A Subaru wheel bearing in the back. Not sure what year that is. Oh, it's a 2020 or 2021 Subaru. Is it a Forester? Or a rear wheel bearing. So it's Victory Day in Canada on Monday. Phil says 65 to 7 degrees, good working temperature. My guy, it's that warm in the night here where I'm at. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it in Florida, but I still want to go. So I only schedule one car a day, unless it's an emergency, and because I'll get walk-ins. So I do have, what day is it? So next Tuesday, I do have 2 scheduled. A Subaru for the grill shutter is not working correctly, and a brake job. Saturdays, we schedule as many oil changes. We'll schedule like up to 8 oil changes on a Saturday, because I can knock them out 20 minutes a piece and do the inspections. Yeah, so most days are just one vehicle because it's just me, and then somebody will come in with a tire, and I got customers that come in that need to make appointments. I got reps that come in that need to talk to me about parts. Friday we got a parking brake job and an engine mount. So if it's 2 easy jobs, I'll schedule 2 easy jobs. Some of the jobs I do are big; they take the whole day or maybe 2 days. Yeah. I think it'll be okay. I've had that Subaru in for an inspection, and it doesn't look too rusty. JD says I installed air oil separator on a WRX today. Some part that guy wanted to put on. Gonna need oxygen. So hopefully not. All I have is a jeweler torch, and it's acetylene. I have a MAP gas torch. I think the only problem I'll have is the long bolt that goes through the lower arms. Hub buster. Yeah, I don't even have a hub buster. I do a lot of wheel bearings on wheel bearings. I guess the last 2 I did were on the Lexus, and they were pressing. I took the whole strut assembly out, so I didn't mess with the alignment. And I pressed the hub out, which they press out pretty easy, and then you got to flip it over and press the bearing out. Actually, that one was backwards for most of them. So the hub came out. Maybe it wasn't. But yeah, the shop I worked at before, we had a hub buster. I just hate using that thing because I just think all the light bulbs, the filaments will break out. And the kids that worked, that used that, I only used it when I had to, like maybe once. But the kids would get the sledgehammer out and hit that thing so hard that the car would almost fall off the hoist. Yeah, so I think one of you 2 guys said you showed somebody how to use the bolt with the nut and then screw it, knock the wheel stud out, and then screw the bolt in and push the bearing out. That works on quite a few. Sometimes it don't work. There's nothing to line up to. But I did see he had another tool that I want to get that pushes on the caliper mounting bolts. Yeah, so that was you, JD. Okay. Yeah, I got, actually just threw one of my bolts away. I stripped all the threads off of it. So I got to get a new bolt. And it's hard sometimes to find good bolts that have long threads on them. But I always find something that works. So I'll do that, and then if that don't work, then I get my air hammer out, and I'll try to twist the hub. And if you can get it just to move just a little bit, you've got it. And then after those 2 fail, then I just get the hammer out and hit it backwards. Lyle has a hub tool used for forcing screws and pushes against the knuckle. Seemed like a sketchy way to crack a knuckle. Yeah, I pressed the wheel bearing out the other day, and I bent one of those ears a little bit. But it did. I had to straighten it out, but it seemed like after I straightened out, it was okay. I use a 2.9 Ford head bolts. Yeah, so maybe that's the bolt that I had. I got some more head bolts at home so that's a good idea. Head bolts always have long threads. Yep, I do have some head bolts at my house garage. That must be one of the bolts that I used was a head bolt. It might have been for a quad 4. No, it couldn't have been for a quad 4 because it had a 3/4 or 19 millimeter hex on it. And I think it had American threads, like 1/2 inch 13. But yeah, head bolts would work perfect. good idea. I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna take a note of that so I bring some long threaded head bolts in. Yeah, I still don't have all my bolts and hardware here from the garage when I used to work at my garage. Yup, your threads and your nut will give out. And I always put a lot of oil on it, or Never Seas, or grease on the threads when I use it. I do that to all my pullers too. I always put some oil on the threads when I use them. Yep, I could hear some more thunder coming. But I should probably get one of those hub busters. Or make one. I could probably make it. So I'm a little excited. I get the morning off tomorrow. I'm disappointed I won't be able to do a video because I'm doing a video every day. So hopefully I get back in time to get that Prius in, or maybe somebody will call me and they'll need to come in. But it's a scheduled day off for tomorrow. Yep. But then Saturday we got 3 lined up so far. And a lot of times on a Saturday for oil changes, they'll call me Saturday. They're like, you got any openings today to get me in for an oil change? And as long as I ain't got too many, I always say yes. Yep, these cars are all rusted. And I had a Jeep. It wasn't a Renegade. I think it was a Patriot come in a while back. But the axle nut, we had to change the wheel bearing. But the axle nut was completely almost gone. And then I had one here too. It was on a Ford Explorer. We had to change the wheel bearings or something on it. Or the struts maybe. There was nothing left of the axle nut. I had to use my air chisel. Nope, I don't do any. I haven't had to do anything with the hybrids and the inverters. I don't know if I would know what I'm doing on that. So leak testing on the orange high voltage wires. So will the insulation get compromised, or how would they leak voltage? I don't know. How many volts are we talking about too? And is it AC or is it DC? Yep, just haven't got into very much work I've had to do on any of that. I did have a guy that wanted me to change the battery or add a battery to his Prius once, but I never did. Yeah, maybe that's what it was, a Jeep Compass. Yep. For some reason, those ones, you can't, the nut for the CV axle, they just disintegrate. It was the 2017 with 90,000 miles. Or kilometers. 90K kilometers. I think that's what he's talking about. So my CRV that's from Canada, it's in kilometers. And it can't be switched to miles. So we have to calculate her oil changes just a little bit different if we change oil on it. She mostly gets her oil changed up there. But when she's down here, I do all the technical side of everything that gets wrong with that thing. I had to do something with the cruise control. The check engine light was on once, the air conditioning. So I do all the stuff like that. Need a mega ohmmeter. Shoot, 600 volts in the lines for Yeah, so that's like I use a mega ohmmeter, a megger, when I test scrapyard magnets to see if the insulation is wore off or if the magnet has water in it. You can tell that with a megger too. Yep, Dodge Jeep axles always season. Yep, I don't know what it is. It's with the Chrysler stuff. So I'm in southern Minnesota. Oh, well, JD is in Canada, and I got my map pulled out because I can't remember what part. He said he was farther east than the east coast of the United States. So we got like Nova Scotia. I can't remember what he said. New Brunswick, Newfoundland. It's got to be in that part. So east Canada. Can't remember what he told me. So hopefully he will tell me again. Nova Scotia. Yeah. Okay. So how warm is it right there today, JD? So, yeah, I started making a list of where everybody's from because my memory is terrible. $55 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And we are at 70. So yeah, it's a little bit colder up and over there. And it's probably gonna get a little bit colder for tonight. So yeah, so 600 volts in them lines. Looking for continuity to ground. So is it where the fasteners are that hold them wires to like the frame and stuff? Or would it be like the insulators where the wires go on to the inverters? I just ain't got any. Will it throw a code for that? I just had never worked on like my future does not look too good. Like all I could do, like if we go full electric, is I change some brakes and some shocks, and I'll probably have to start doing tires. 5 minutes from the ocean, that's awesome. I've never been to the ocean. I want to go to the ocean before I die. My memory sucks. Too much brake cleaner from the 90s. Yeah, there's my rep came in and we were talking about the brake cleaner and how it is bad for you. JD says he could see the ocean out the window. That's cool. Oh yeah, I was gonna check and see if Alan is doing a live feed. I think he said 9, but I don't know if that's Eastern time. Yep, he's having one right now, so I'm gonna put it up. I can't turn the volume on, I don't think. I gotta skip the ad. Ooh, look at that one. 2026 Nissan Frontier. So yeah, some of the cars have damage. This must be a lineup coming up. So this guy was just in my live feed. So I'm just gonna turn that on so he's got another viewer. And I'm gonna say something to him here. He was nice enough to come to my live feed. Better spell his name right. So yeah, he just had picked us up a week ago and came to our live feed, my live feed, and seems pretty nice. So Phil says a hybrid will shut down the hybrid system when it detects a cable leak. But where is it leaking out? Through the insulation where it's fastened to the body ground? If that gets compromised, I suppose it could get compromised there if a rock hits it, or the insulators that are on the inverter. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too good. I just thought I'd start doing live feeds, and last Tuesday I did have a guy that was on. Can't remember exactly what he worked on. A 2012 Ford Explorer, and his power steering was out, but I have experience on that, and I was trying to help him out the best I could. So I really wanted help, give you guidance in the way, tell you how to do it. But I'm just like, if I had that car, this is what I would do. Buff says, try using denatured alcohol and a solvent brush in a drain pan for brake cleaner. Yeah, I do have a parts washer right. It's right here. So yeah, it's just a lot of. I decided, and I told my rep that even though I ordered 5 more cases of brake cleaner, I told him I need to start learning how to use less brake cleaner. Yeah, so JD knows him, Andy Dasher, and we wrote his name down. Yeah, he's got family near JD, so that was cool. I kind of cut you guys off. I felt really bad. So hopefully you guys keep in touch. That would be cool. I would sure like to know what he finds out on that Ford Explorer. What? Because I had one, and it turned out that it was it just needed a tire light or wheel alignment and new tires. And after we did that, it never shut the power steering off again, and it never had any codes. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I got the first ever technical side questions, and that's why you guys are there too, because you can help them out too. So that's really cool, because you guys, we're all car guys, and we're working on cars. Phil works on some cars down in Florida. JD Pico Boo works on them in Canada. Who else we got? Oh, Buff. Yeah, Buff builds cars and knows a lot about cars. And Buff had a shop. I didn't know he had a shop until we were on his live feed the other day. Leisure knows everything about cars. He comments on all my videos. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I missed his comment. He said Hub Buster. Hub. Michelle knows a little bit about cars, and she's learning. She knows about our Ford Expedition that's got 300 and some thousand miles on it. When I first met her, I asked her if she changed her own oil, and she said she did. I still don't know if she did or not. JD says, I thought it was crazy. A random person on a live stream of all the people in the world, He has the same stream on the same stream as I was, and I know of his family. That's really cool. It's the rag joint in the steering column on the exploder, I guess. Yeah, the older ones. Yeah, no, I like working on cars. I was just thinking about that today. Like I didn't mind putting in those press-in wheel bearings. I had a little trouble getting that desiccant bag out of that condenser today, but I got it out and I cleaned it up and resealed it, and it held pressure, and I didn't see no bubbles after I charged it back up. I like doing air conditioning. Yeah, Phil says need to find me a woman who can change my oil. Yeah, well, I wonder which oil you're talking about. She did up until she met you, and then you got you to do it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Well, she said so too. So Buff had 2 radiator shops, AC shop, AA turbocharging shop back in the 80s. Then designed aircraft and built prototype airplanes. 15 years of flight testing, now back to cars. I was building a little prototype aircraft. At one time, I had bought light or ultralight James Bond and prop, and it was a reverse rotation. So, ended up carving my own prop and put it on my pit cart. And I have a little 340 Polaris liquid cooled that I put that prop on. I could drive my pit cart around the yard, but I didn't have a cage over the prop. So, the very same day, I took it all apart because I felt it was too dangerous for my siblings. And then after that, I was like, well, it might be too dangerous for me to fly a little ultralight. Like, I value my life, and I don't want to get 6 feet under too soon. Phil says, I probably get a retirement gig at Lowe's working in the carpet section. Yeah, the carpet section always smells different. Big easy gig. When people have complaints about the product, I'll just say I just work here, dude. Do you know what a Titan Tornado or Titan Mustang is? That's my work. Titan. What do you mean that's your work? Back to cars now for enjoyment, 15 years. Oh, AA turbocharging back in the 80s. Maybe that's what Buff's talking about. Titan Tornado. Let's type it in. Oh, that's the ultralight. What does it say? Does it say it's an ultralight? Yes, ultralight. Well, that's cool. I know I've seen a couple of these flying around here. We got a couple farmer runways that are built into fields, and I just showed Michelle one of them the other day. Yeah, that's awesome. So I know, like, aircraft, people that build aircraft are special people. Because the reason I know that is, let me show you. Tell them you work in the lawn and garden department. I led the design team on both of those planes. That's awesome. I know I've seen them planes in the sky around here because the ultralights do fly lower. But let me show you some tools I picked up from an aircraft mechanic once. Right here all these I don't know what you call them, chamfering bits, and then they screw into this thing. Those I bought from an aircraft mechanic. See, they screw in their 1/4 inch 28, and these things are ultra sharp, ultra precision, and then they all have a little guide. After you drill the hole, this takes the burrs off, or countersinks the bolt. Probably countersinks the bolt so that it could be less drag. But I bought as many of those as I could from the guy. So normal mechanics don't have those that I know. Okay, so they're not an ultralight. They are too fast to be an ultralight. I didn't know there was a speed limit for an ultralight. Countersink tools, yep. But they're higher precision than the normal ones. I got normal ones over there too. So they use the hole, so it's precision. But I can't remember who it was, but it might have just been an acquaintance, and I bought them. And he told me that he worked on airplanes. But yeah, that's ultra cool. So there's a speed limit for an ultralight? I thought it was just it had to be a certain weight, and then you got to fly under 1,000 feet or something. Ultralight limit 63 miles an hour, single seat, 5 gallons of gas. Yeah. But isn't there, like, they can't only weigh so much, or 300 pounds or something like that? Getting some traffic going by. Yeah, so I don't advertise, but I'm right here on a highway, state highway. We get a lot of traffic, but if I ever got slow enough that where I think I need more work, I could put a sidewalk sign out there next to the highway. 254 pounds, yeah. So those are the rules for an ultralight. JD says, I remember years ago I watched a guy fly around with some contraption. It was a motor pack strapped to his back and parachute. Watched him go really high and could barely see him. It looked weird. Yeah, I think they call that something else. And they also make like a glider type thing with an engine on it. Yeah, it's like a helicopter, but nothing turns the rotor blades on top but the wind. And then they use the little ultralight motor, the Rotax motor with the prop on it. And those things, as I don't know exactly how it works, but those are cheaper and it looks more dangerous. Motor glider. Once I started getting into it and figured out that I could die fairly easily, I decided not to. But I really did buy a James Bond ultralight prop. And I had it for like a year, and then I decided I wasn't going to use it. So I put it back for sale for more than I bought it for because I knew the history on it. And it sold within hours of listing it. And it was a fairly nice prop. I had to package it up really like one of a kind, actually. And I had to package it up really good to ensure that it wouldn't get damaged during shipping. But yeah, I still remember driving my pit cart around the yard. So we have this, like when we go to the races, we have this cart that we pull. You can pull it with a four wheeler or by your hand. And then our tires would go on there, our fuel would go on there, our jacks would go on there. I mean, when I went, we had 4 tires, the impact, the generator, because if I came prepared, and whenever I had a flat tire, I always made it back out every single time. I had a really good pit crew, thanks to all those guys. I tried to take care of them when they would always show up every week. And occasionally, I would say like 1 out of 10 races, I'd have a flat tire. And usually if you were going to get a flat tire in a race, sometimes you got more than one in the same race. And then we glued our lug nuts onto the rim, a few sets of extra lug nuts, and then we used the weather stripping glue. At that time, it was the yellow stuff. And it worked. Even if the lug nuts were glued to the rim for a month or so, they still went on. And we had electric impact and a generator. Oh, the jack, aluminum jack. I still have the jack here. Gotta fix the handle on it. It keeps slipping out. Yep, my posture's really bad. Gotta get a haircut. I gotta get a haircut. So I think the van's about ready. I can get the van running. And I got a couple bags of aluminum cans, because when I get my haircut, I stop in at the salvage yard, and I'll take my cans in at the same time. Sometimes I take all my scrap. I got a little pickup box trailer it's almost full of like steel scrap, and then inside the van I'll put my aluminum cans, and then whatever aluminum radiators or whatever aluminum parts that I take off of these cars. And then I'll take all that in. I think last time I got like $300 for it all. Yeah, I asked her if she wanted to cut my hair, but I don't think it went any farther than me asking her. I used to cut it myself, but I go to the beauty salon in Leroy, and I know the girl there, and she cuts guys' hair too, I guess. And it doesn't cost very much. She did raise her price the last time I was there. And she's mad at me now because I haven't come in for a long time. Because I told her last time I was in there, I'll call her. Normally she schedules me an appointment every few months. But I just was extra busy, and I thought I wanted to grow my hair out just a little bit longer, and now it's gotten out of control. So yeah, I just checked in on Alan's live feed. I still don't know if I completely understand. I think it's just like an advertising thing that he's doing. So JD says he gets his haircut whenever his girlfriend says, I have an appointment, LOL. Yeah, I just thought I'd try it a little bit longer, but I'm over it. Time to get a haircut. And it's going to be summer, so it's going to be hot. I always do a lot better with short hair in the summer. We do have air conditioning, so yeah, I keep it really nice in here in the summer. Michelle says that she's got a big day. Yeah, we're taking the day off tomorrow, and she's gonna head to bed. All right, good night, Michelle. I'll see you in a little bit. Maybe she's hinting at me I gotta come in soon. So I have been on it for 2 hours. Anybody use the McPherson suspension components? Like McPherson was one of the first designers of like the suspension systems. And it was they were like the cheapest ones, maybe not the cheapest ones. But I put him in the mailman car, and he comes here every week, so I'll be able to keep an eye on him. JD says he doesn't like the heat, so he wears shorts at work. We also have a heat pump, so the heat pump keeps it cool. I mean, a heat pump keeps it warm in the winter, but does it keep it cool in the summer too? Not sure. I think they do. They assist. I think the regular. Yeah. Do they assist like your regular heating so work as hard? Is that how that works? And air conditioning? So I always wanted to get into like that geothermal. One of the shops down the road has it. They've drilled like, it's all we have. So does it keep it cold enough or hot enough? I imagine it gets colder there than it does here. But yeah, there's a couple ways to do like the geothermal stuff. A couple different ways. One is to drill like straight down like 500 feet, and then another one is like to dig a big pit and put grids of pipes down there. I know another guy, he dug like 7 feet down in big long trenches and put his pipes in there. When I built my garage, I did put in some pipes in the ground. Cecil Wilson 79, hey buddy. Well, hey buddy to you. How you doing? What part of the country are you in? JD says seems to work good. Heat pump basically AC. Yeah. Okay. Ohio. Yeah, I think. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you were here on one of the other live feeds. So yeah, I'm making a list of everybody. So, because my memory is terrible. My memory is terrible. It's where everybody's from. Ohio. So how warm is it in Ohio right now? We are like 70 degrees here. A little bit ago, I think JD said it was, let me look. Maybe, I think he said like 55, like probably an hour ago in Canada. So what's up tonight? I'm probably gonna butcher this. Sesco Wilson 79. What is up tonight? Yeah, I'm just doing a live feed. Got my normal crew on here. We're just chatting it up. Nothing too exciting. I got somebody else from Ohio. No. Oh, here comes the rain. She's starting to rain. So hopefully, yeah, if my internet starts buffering, I'm probably going to just call it. Yeah, you could hear it. Yeah, I might go just shut the door. It's not raining in yet. So, pretty good rain. The crops are just starting to come up, and the farmers are begging for rain. That's lightening up a little bit now. Yeah, the farmers are just begging for rain. Like, it's so dry. The other day I talked about it on my Tuesday live feed, how dry and dusty it was. It reminded me of, like, I think the Interstellar movie where they had the dust storms. Plus, if I shut the door, it might be easier for you guys to hear. So I'm just gonna shut it. I got the remote. And yeah, that squeaks a little bit, but I need to get new doors. And I do have the garage door lube, and I put it on there. The problem is they're old doors, and in the winter the wind will blow right through here. So I adjusted all the doors right up tight. So that's why it's squeaking, I think, because I don't think it squeaked like that before I pushed the door tighter to the outside. And the guy said when I bought the building that they put new trim on the outside, but it did not work. Like in the winter when it's blowing, it's super cold. Like I can feel the draft right in here. So I probably should get that fixed, but we burn oil for heat, so it doesn't bother me. Yeah, I think let's go check it out. How many gallons I burned. So I put a counter on everything. 555 gallons so far. I don't know if you guys, yeah, the little counter's right here. Probably can't read it. And then this hoist, I don't use this hoist as much, but there's a little counter on here every time I go up. It's got 281. Yeah, it is. It is starting to buffer, isn't it? And then this hoist, this is my main hoist that I use all the time. And it's got a counter on it too. So 1,568 times since I bought it almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. There, we can watch on the TV. Yep, waste oil. See, I seen it on my big TV. Knew I bought that for a reason. Yep, waste oil. That's a Lionair XT75, and that thing is, I bought it brand new when I started in my garage in like 2021. And I can assure you that furnace has paid for itself. I think it was like almost $5,000. And that furnace has paid for itself multiple times. Like, I know for sure if I had to pay a gas bill here, that I would struggle for money. But since I burn waste oil, that takes a big bill and a big burden off me. Because I change oil and people bring oil here. I generally always have enough oil. So I'm so glad I bought it. It's only had a couple breakdowns. The last time I swore to God it might have been close to burning down the shop, but maybe not that bad. Because it tripped the breaker, but then so it tripped the breaker right away. So I don't think it would have burned down the shop. But when I was diagnosing what was wrong with it, it would throw sparks out 6 feet out of the outside. So still loud. Yeah, all the shops in my area all have waste oil burners. And I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them. Especially in my town, like I'm grateful that people bring me oil because there's other places in my town to bring it. So I'm just assuming in Canada they don't allow that. That would be interesting. I'll have to turn into a completely private shop then if that's the case, because I need somewhere to put all the oil. Or else you got to pay to get rid of your oil. They used to pay you, but now you got to pay to get rid of it. I know Jeff Rose, Garage and Fab, he has a waste oil burner, but he's down south a little in the middle. So yeah, that's not too much oil, but 555 gallons, and I used the furnace this morning a little bit, take the chill out, and then all the barrels back there. I can't see them, but all the barrels back there is my storage, and then I got barrels over there. Yeah, I hope they don't shut them down like that. That saves me a ton of money. Just a ton of money. And it's clean burning. Like, you don't smell it outside. You don't see it outside. You don't smell it outside. So I remember at one of the shops I worked at, like, it stunk bad in the shop. It stunk bad outside the shop. But it's very, very clean burning. I don't know as far as on a technical level, but I know I can't smell anything outside or inside. And I only have to clean it out once a year. So like in the fall, when I start getting it going for the first time, I'll clean it out before I get it going. And there's usually like I get a 5-gallon jug or bucket, and it puts like a couple gallons worth of ash in there. But yeah, compared to some of the waste oil that were at other shops that I worked at, this is like, you cannot tell. Other than it makes a little noise, like it's hard to do a YouTube video if the furnace is running. So most of my videos in the winter on that side, I'll be able to start doing more videos on this side now that the furnace ain't running. Yeah, I hope they don't get any more ideas up their sleeves, more regulations. And so I don't know what happened to Cecil Wilson, but I think I was asking him what he was up to tonight. Yeah, so I'm running out of stuff for tonight. Michelle said she's already going to bed, so better figure that one out. So yeah, we've been on here just a little bit over 2 hours, so that's not too bad. Actually, my hip feels a little bit better now, maybe because I just been sitting all day, or I mean 2 hours. So probably next Tuesday, I'll do one in portrait mode. I'll just talk about, I guess, whatever goes on that week, and maybe somebody will come in and need me to help them, or us. Somebody will come in and need us. Yep, Buff, I'm going to watch your live feed too. So thanks for coming. I'm thinking about shutting her off right now. Thank all you guys for coming, and hopefully you had fun, and I didn't get stumped too much on this one. Tuesday was bad. I got stumped on a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully you guys weren't laughing too bad. Yeah. Thanks, Leisure, JD. Hopefully it warms up a little bit for you, JD. I know you don't like it too warm. Yeah, so I'll see you guys on next Tuesday, and thanks for coming, and I had fun. I like talking. I guess I just, Michelle says I like talking all the time. So yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it all, and thanks for commenting in my videos. and I'm learning more stuff with you guys, so that's good. I consider you guys my friends. All right, thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time.